It's Christmas, it's a political show, so leaving aside for a moment the whole issue of who's been naughty or nice, if we were to have a shopping list, it might look something like this. Bernie Sanders. You know, you may want to ditch your sensible Vermont outdoorsy footwear if you're going to catch Hillary. As for Jeb Bush, it looks like you may need several pairs if you're going to catch up in your race. And I say that with an exclamation point. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, let's face it, you've spent much of the last year engaged in a bitter on-and-off-again feud with Everett casino developer Steve Wynn. So, why not just have him over to your office, play a little game of rock'em sock'em, get it all out of your system, and call it a day? Oh, and then just for the heck of it, you could both exchange one of these. For the Bay State's junior senator, Ed Markey, there are those who would say that you tend to be a bit invisible. Perhaps there's a couple of tricks in here to help you reappear. And if that doesn't work, this should help you stand out more. Go with more of a Boston theme? She's not even running. On a purely non-political note, as we're about to enter Big Papi's final season in Boston, a few things for retirement. For one thing, you'll finally be able to lounge around at night and watch the game in something nice and comfortable. And unlike some pitchers from a few years back, enjoy an adult beverage or two while you do. Cheers and thanks, Big Papi. For Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, if the tea should unfortunately break down again this winter, you're going to need a few of these, like one for every commuter, with the Uber app already downloaded. For Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton, can you really have too many flash drives? I suggest the whole rack. And look, even color coordinated for Christmas. And last on our shopping list, it's not easy finding something for the man who has everything, including, at this point, a lead in the Republican polls for president. But we think that Donald J. Trump could use a friendly little reminder about one of the central themes of the Christmas holiday, namely, goodwill towards men. All men and women, and so a little something to put outside your house or your tower or your country. And we'd like to think that as welcome mats go, the Donald would even agree. This one's huge. Happy holidays, everybody.
It's huge. It's phenomenal. It's going to be huge. And they'll pay for it.
We've reached the OTR roundtable conversation point, and our analysts this week are Marianne Marks on the Democratic side and Republican analyst Eric Fernstrom. You know, I think that Ted was very good. It was one-stop shopping, right? He went to one mall and he got everything he needed, so that was
Smart.
good.
So, following on the Donald Trump theme here, following the GOP debate this past week, is it fair to say the main challengers going into Iowa, going into New Hampshire, are going to be Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio?
I think so, and I think Cruz and Rubio believe that, and that's why you saw them fighting over things like immigration and surveillance. I look at Chris Christie as a sleeper candidate. He could pull it out. But look, if anybody's going to make a strong run at Trump, they need Ben Carson to be strong, because he has to be there to divide that outsider vote. If that doesn't happen, if Carson continues to fade as he has been doing in the polls, then it's going to be very hard to topple Donald Trump.
Cruz, Rubio, who's your money on, Marianne?
Cruz and only in Iowa. And unless he wins Iowa, there's no one challenging Donald Trump at this point. The fact is, Donald Trump can lose Iowa, win New Hampshire, and he wins everything else after that. But if he wins Iowa and New Hampshire, he runs the table, it's over.
I want to talk about Bernie Sanders. Janice sat down with Bernie Sanders this week, and he is frankly angry. Is that a fair word?
Yeah, I'd say.
He's angry at the lack of coverage of his campaign, because polls show him with about the same support as Donald Trump nationally, but he's gotten seconds of national TV time compared to the hours that Donald Trump has gotten. Eric, what, if anything, is wrong here?
Well, I think he's a crybaby. Look, if he's really concerned about coverage, then he should point the blame at the Democratic Party for limiting the number of debates. And even the debates they do have, they tuck away on nights when nobody's watching. What does it say that the only Democratic debate in New Hampshire is going to be held on a Saturday night before Christmas?
Yes.
So look, if Bernie Sanders is upset, he shouldn't blame the media. He should blame his own party.
Saturday night, statistically, is the least viewed night of television anyway.
I'll be in
and
New Hampshire. I
then
don't know
it's
where anyone else
before-
is going to be,
okay.
okay? I mean, come on. Junkies are junkies.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, no one's getting covered except Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton's not getting covered. No other Democrat's getting covered. Any other Republican's not getting covered. However, when Bernie Sanders was pulling in big crowds like Donald Trump did this week in Arizona, he got covered.
But at this point, isn't this the best news for Hillary Clinton under the circumstances? Not getting coverage, Bernie's not getting anything, and Donald Trump is taking away the headlines at this point?
I think you always want to get some coverage because you can't win anything with only one element. You need everything. So while it's nice to be under the radar screen doing your organizational stuff, it's nice to get covered too.
Let's change the conversation to local issues. Runaway tea problems. Apparently, the MBTA doesn't need bad weather to get bad press. Governor Baker tried to wrestle control of the message by honoring 2 workers who, quote, saved the 50 passengers in that train. But did it work, though, Marianne?
Look, a few months ago it was leaves, now it's a conductor leaving the cab, okay? And that's a big problem. The fact is the tea has not been yet tested because we're basically experiencing summer in December. But we all know at some point, like last year, the snow will fall and a lot of it, and if the tea does not work, it'll be more than one conductor leaving the tea.
Did the governor wrestle control of that message, Eric?
Well, you know what? Every time I come on this show and we talk about Governor Baker, we're talking about the MBTA, and I don't think that's necessarily a good long-term press strategy for the governor. I'm hoping that when he comes forward with his State of the Union or State of the State speech early next year, he brings forth an agenda that's big and bold and ambitious enough so that he doesn't have to address questions about whether or not the 57 bus is going to get to Watertown Square on time. I mean,
But
this is-
a bad winter.
governors are about
Yeah,
bigger
right.
things than bus schedules and trains that don't arrive on time.
But Bob DeSalvio was. Did you have another point?
Well,
you
I
wanted
was
to
just
bring
saying,
up?
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if you're the governor, you own it.
Bob DeSalvio sat in this chair this morning, and you know, we talked about when obviously he's representing Win Everett, but he essentially said negotiating is over. So how's this going to end, Eric, with the city and Win and all this stuff?
I'll put my money on the mayor. He may not get everything he wants in a financial settlement, but if you have to choose between an out-of-state casino operator or your own constituents, you're not going to lose by choosing your constituents. And he's fighting hard for them because that's what mayors do.
But he's not the mayor of Everett. He's the mayor of Boston, and it's in Everett.
Well, Boston has some very serious mitigation concerns about the impact that casino in Everett is going to have on neighborhoods like Charlestown.
Right. This is about Charlestown, and 'tis the season to make announcements where you want to say you got something done, but maybe don't want to know everyone to know that you didn't probably get everything you wanted. So I would say between now and the end of the year, when we all talk to clients and others and say, if you have bad news, now's the time to put it out.
News dump, right.
Marty Walsh might be making this announcement before the end of the year.
Do you think he can walk away with the look of a win? Is that possible?
No
Win
pun
as in
intended.
W-I-N,
Which win are you
not
talking about?
W-Y-N.
Anyone in Charlestown could not deny the fact that Marty Walsh, if he goes down, went down swinging for them. He'll get more than he would have otherwise. It probably won't be perfect, but perfect time to announce it.
We'll be right back, and we hope you'll come back.
Oh,